Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great Saturday or whatever day that you're watching the video. And today I wanted just to spend a little time on how to make the inside of the card more interesting with pop-ups. And we've talked about doing some different kinds of things before, but I really wanted to illustrate a couple of other ways. All right, so this is a card that we had made using the Curvy labels a while back. Okay, and it had these cute little birds on the inside. There's nothing wrong with the inside of this card, but if I wanted to put something in here to pop up, I've cut a piece of cardstock in vanilla, so it's the same as the back of the card, and it's 2 by 8, and then I want to score it every 2 inches. And so I use my cutter to do that. You don't have to. You can use a ruler in your bone folder or something. So 2, 4, 6. Okay. And I'll take my bone folder and make those fold. So now all I've done is just create a little kind of a shelf, I guess, that you put something on. Okay, so this is going to be similar to the inside of cards we've done before. This is going to pop out that much. Okay, and I am going to put some DSP on here to make it look more like a package. So it's going to be easiest to do that before you attach it to the card. And I'm just going to use some snail. In the interest of time, you can use liquid glue, you can use snail, you can use dots, I want to say glue dots. So just about anything there. Okay, and then I'm going to attach, this is going to be attached down here to the bottom, and this is going to be attached to the back of the card. So that when you open it, see, it's going to fold flat, but when you open it, it's going to pop up. So easy peasy for that. Again, I'm using the Terran tape. You could use the red line tape. You could use liquid. It just takes it a while to dry. I don't use snail for this because the snail doesn't hold that well when the card's opening and closing very much, I think. So I'm going to make this one kind of look like an ornament. When I'm just going to show you some different ways to do things on the inside. I just think we spend a lot of time on the outside of the card, but then not so much on the inside. So I'm going to put that right up here. You could measure to make sure it's even and everything. You want to make sure that when this is folded in half, that it's not longer than the card. All right. Then I'm going to put some adhesive here. Again, I'm using something that's going to be stronger because this is going to be opening and closing. So I don't want to use something that's not going to be strong. Okay, and then you could certainly attach it like this up here, but I find since I want it to lay flat, if you'll lay it flat and then bring this down. Okay, now you've got a little pop-up, and I'm going to add the bow to the top because I think that looks cute. And then when they open, they've got a present that pops up. I think it's just, gives it that extra little something. Now, if this card didn't have anything stamped on the inside, that would really, make it pop. All right, so now you get the card, you open it, and you've got a nice little package on the inside. You can see that was super, super easy to do. Okay, so for this one, and this one doesn't already have something on the inside. We had made this card, using those split circles. But when you open it, it's really kind of bland. All right, so I thought I would take a piece, and again, I'm using the same color, which is the crumb cake, and it is 7.5 by 4.5, and I just folded it in half. And then I'm going to cut in from the fold 1 inch, and I want to do that at 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so again, and I'll show you on the next one, if you want to just use your scissors, if you don't have, a good cutter, you can do that. but I'm going to go at 1 inch. So I'm lining this up at 1, and I'm going to cut in 1 inch. So that's to here. Okay, and then I'm going to go at 2, cutting in 1 inch, at 3, and at 4. Okay, so like I said, you could have just as easily, made a little line with your ruler and cut those with your scissors if you want. All right, so now I just have this piece that's going to go on the inside, but what I'm going to do is take 2 of these and I'm going to pop them the other way. All right, and those are going to serve then as my little pop. You know what, it's going, there we go. I didn't get it cut all the way because I was cutting through 2 layers. That's all right. So you might have to make an It looks like I didn't even get this one straight, did I? It's all right. All right, so these are folded. So now, see, I'm going to put this on the inside of the card, and then I'm going to attach some words to it so that those are going to pop up. So again, with these, I want to use my stronger adhesive. And liquid glue is very strong. It's just you'll have to stand and hold it for a little while because it doesn't dry. It doesn't dry right away. That's all. This I can just use it right away. So in the interest of time, I always like to use my tear and tape during the videos. Unless I'm attaching some small pieces, where you can't really use the tape, then you got to use the glue. That's very nice for that. And you don't have to hold it an extra long time or anything. You just, got to wait for a minute. All right, now I'm not putting any glue here. You could, but just make sure you're not putting it in these pieces that are going to pop out. So again, I'm going to close this. I'm going to put it at the fold. I'm lining it up on the top and the bottom to make sure that I'm going to be even. And then I'm going to close it. Okay, so now I've got this that's going to pop up. And then I want to put these here. I want to attach those. I'm going to attach one of these also. So I'm trying to be mindful not to have the tape any further over. I don't want the tape to come down and stick down here. You want the tape to only be on here. So you could actually put the tape on that if you wanted to make sure. I'm going to take this way, and I'm putting 2 of these because I had those on the front. So again, I want to make sure that it's not going to come up above where the card is. Maybe on this one, I'll show you. You can just put the tape on here. But because this wasn't going to be flush, I just didn't want tape to get there where there wasn't going to be anything attached to it. Okay. Just kind of have to think about it when you're putting these little pop-up things in there to make sure that the adhesive isn't going to go where you need it to. You have to plan ahead, which doesn't always work in my favor, but normally it does. So this one, I think I want this coming down this way. I could put that on first, and then I can put this on. All right, so then we have a happy birthday, and on the inside, thinking of you with all my heart and wishing you every happiness. So see how you can pop up words. just gives it something. You know, it was very plain before with nothing in there. All right, so here I've got a birthday hat on the front. So you know this is going to be a birthday card, but something else that we could do. So this one is cut, at 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm just going to fold it in half. Okay, I'm going to bring in my cutter again, or this time maybe I'll use the ruler. No, I'm going to bring in my cutter. I do better with my cutter. Some people do better with the ruler. Okay, so I'm going to cut at 3/4 and 2. So 3/4 is here, and I'm cutting in on this one 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to come in 1 1/4 inches, which will be up to there. Okay, and then at 2 inches, and again, I'm going to come in 1 1/4 inches. Okay, and then at 2 1/2 inches, and I'm going to only come in 1 inch on that one, and you'll see why I'm differing those in a minute. And then at 3 1/2 inches, I'm coming in 1 inch. Okay, and then at 4, and I'm only going to come in 3/4 this time, which is just to there. That's why they have the marks going this way too, so in case you want to do something like this. And 4 3/4, and that'll go to there. All right, so these are my cuts. I'm just going to take my fingers this time and make sure it looks like they cut all the way through. All right, so I'm going to have this one's going to be 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. This one's going to be 1 by 1, and this one's going to be 3/4 by 3/4. Again, then I'm going to turn those the opposite way. See if I can get these a little straighter than I did the last ones. There we go. And this one. And this one. All right, so I could have put them just, whoops, almost not put it out. Could have put them just a little bit closer if I'd wanted to, but I didn't want to get them so thin in between that they might tear. So again, just by making those cuts and folding it in the opposite direction now, I want to make this look like a little tower of gifts. So I'm going to take, these are 1 1/4. And they look to be a little bit bigger than my cut here, but that's okay. I can trim that. All right, and see how this is a little bit over? Just take my scissors. And I should have my glasses on to do this too, because otherwise, I didn't want to trim it a little bit smaller this time. But I probably should have done probably 1/8 of an inch anyway. And I'm just snipping off these excess pieces so that it's going to close flat. Okay, so there. Okay, and then I've got these two. Now these two have candles, so I want to make sure that they're facing the right way. Again, I think I'm going to have to trim this. Should have made them just a little bit smaller, but I did not. But that's okay because we can trim it afterwards. And this one. I'm making a mess on this one, but it's still going to be cute. And then the this one will be for the top gift. You can see what I mean about if they were a little bit closer together, they would look a little more like stacked gifts. But I was just afraid. Yep. And then again, just attach this on the inside, and you have the 3 gifts when you open it up. So it goes from being, no decoration on the inside to having some decoration on the inside. All right, so this one is the donkey. And it just says, "Hey there, friend," on the front, and the inside was bear. All right, so the last 2 that I did were facing this way, but I want to show you can also do it landscape. I guess the way it's called portrait. So this one is 8 by 5. And I'm just going to fold it in half. And this one, I just want to cut 3 little slits. I don't want bigger slits on this one. So I'm going to go, they're all going to come in 1 inch. And I'm going to have it at 3/4, which is right there. Come up to the 1 inch at 1, which is right there. At 2.5. Uh, 2 3/4. So this time the little pop-ups are going to be very thin. 4 up to 1 and 4 1/4. Okay. So see that I end up with 3 little slits this time instead of wider ones. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to turn it over and take those and pop them out the other way. And they're just going to, that one I need to snip, I think, with my scissors. I don't think I got that one all the way through. Luckily, you can see the line, so it's easy just to go back and snip it. Okay, and this one too, I don't think it went all the way through. I could say I did that on purpose so I can show you what happened, but I didn't. I'm going to just cut off because that piece is hanging. I'm just going to cut that off. All right, so now I have the inside of my card. I have my 3 little pieces that are going to stick out as my supports. Fold this in half. Make sure they're folded down all the way. I have to cut off the one. There's a little piece there I want to cut off. I'm not going to notice it so much when I get everything on there. All right, and that's going to go in here. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one down just so you can see what I'm going to do. So you've seen, sometimes I put words in there. Sometimes I just put designer paper. And this time I'm going to put, I just looked around to see what kind of die cuts or punches or something that I already had. And I had some flowers. And since he's got these flowers on the outside, this is also a little easel card. Since he's got some flowers on the outside, I wanted to put some flowers on the inside since I had some already cut in the right colors, and put a little happy birthday on the inside too. I think it's really nice. You know, we've done that, like that accordion book opening where you have stuff. It's just, it doesn't take a lot of time, but I think it adds a lot of a wow factor when you've got something popping on the inside of the card. Okay, there we go. See, this is an easel card where you could set this up like that. I still like something on the inside. All right, so I was going to put a flower. Let me set this back here so it'll stay up. I was going to put a flower there, and a flower there, and then my happy birthday. So For this one, I think for sure I'm going to use my liquid, because that's very thin here, to try to put on a piece of the Terran tape. I'm sure I could get it on there, but I would be afraid that it would, get caught back here. So I'm going to sit this one down like that. Okay. And I'm going to put this one over here I think I'll put the yellow one second. I don't remember the project that we did that I already had these cut out, but I have a little box. And I just, anytime I've got extras, I stick them in there. Be careful, that they're not, you don't want them to bend down here at the bottom. So that works. And then I'm going to put my little happy birthday on here. So this card's got a whole lot of stuff going on. And then I was just going to attach that like there. And again, you can see that liquid is holding. I'm just going to be very careful not to move those around before they're dry. Put the happy birthday there. So now see, when you open this, you'll have the happy birthday with the flowers, but it still closes flat. Okay? And one last one that dries, let's sit there, is for the flamingo. So this one too I had not put anything on the inside. So I went ahead and stamped the Stand Tall and Stand Out. And I cut a piece. This is Pool Party, the back of this card. And I cut it at 2 by 6. And I'm going to score it every 1.5 inches. So instead of it being square this time, it's going to end up being a rectangle. So that's at 1.5, at 3, and at 4.5. I love her. Those trimmers, the paper trimmers are like one of the things that you really want to invest in if you're going to be making a lot of cards, because you can not only cut your paper with them, but you can see how, you can score with it and everything. All right. So that's going to give me my rectangle. And this one, I want to attach this way. Okay. Because I needed to have it wide enough that I could put my flamingo on there, but I didn't want it, to take up the whole card or anything. So again, on this, I'll put my adhesive. I always use the stronger one when it's on the part that has to open and close. I think taking the time, to do the envelopes and to maybe put a little something extra on the inside. It doesn't take a whole long time, but it really gives you a lot of wow factor. So that will be on the bottom. And I could put it down further if it doesn't have to be in the middle. You could put it anywhere you wanted. I might put this one just a little farther down. But putting that first one on and then, closing the card to put the second one on is always advisable, rather than to try to do it like this. Because if you get it a little bit off, it's not going to fold flat. Again, making sure that that this piece doesn't stick out farther. All right, so now I did not color his little eye and everything, which I would like to do. His beak, because they have those black beak. It just takes a minute to color this now. I think it looks better. Okay. So for this one, I thought I would do a branch coming down there, and I'm going to use the liquid for this because it's a odd shape. And I'm not putting glue everywhere because I'm only attaching it on those middle ones. Okay. And then I might do the same thing for the flamingo because I really just want it on the body here and a little bit on the legs. So I will attach it that way. I think that's probably the hardest part, is figuring out where you want your adhesive and making sure you don't get it where you don't want it. There you go. Okay, so then when you open this one, you got to pop up there. All right, so we've got our flamingo, and I'm going to leave him a little bit open because that's not dry yet. We had our donkey, and he was an easel on the front, but also now we've got the pop-up happy birthday on the inside. Oh, that's sitting here so you can see it. We've got the one that had the birthday hat on the outside and then the 3 presents on the inside. We had the happy birthday here, and then opening, and you had the 2 words that came out, and then the first one that we did that we just had a present that popped up. So you can see these took like hardly any time at all. You can adjust it for the size. You know, I could have made this smaller or larger, just making sure that it's not going to stick outside of the current card. You can attach die cuts if you'd rather. You can just cut things out. You know, it doesn't have to be anything intricate or difficult in order to make the card look really nice. So I hope that you all try this and that you have a great day. Thanks.